Carved in stone, in the forgotten deserts of Mesopotamia, an object appears that shouldn't exist. We find it clutched in the hands of gods, winged beings, and ancient sages who seem to stand between heaven and earth. It's a shape we instantly recognize, yet it defies all explanation. A flat, square bottom, a perfectly rounded handle. To a modern eye, it looks unmistakably like a handbag. This is not a quirk of one civilization. It is a global enigma, a symbol that appears in the ruins of cultures separated by oceans and millennia, civilizations that, by all accounts, never met. They used different tools, spoke different languages, and worshipped different gods. Yet they all carved this same precise object. Why are divine beings from Sumer, Turkey, and ancient Mexico all carrying the same bag? What secrets does it hold, and why is this seemingly simple object one of the most baffling and persistent mysteries in all of archaeology? The first puzzle is its stubborn consistency. If this were merely a container, a basket, or a pouch, logic demands variety. We would expect different shapes, sizes, and materials, reflecting the unique cultures that made them. Instead, we find a startling uniformity. From the 6,000-year-old reliefs of Sumer to the sacred pyramids of the Olmecs, the design is replicated with unnerving precision. A square base, a half-moon handle, always carried by figures of immense power. This global signature, older than written language, demands an explanation. The archaeological consensus offers a practical, grounded answer. Scholars point to ancient Assyrian and Sumerian texts. The object, called a bandadoo in Akkadian, literally translates to bucket. It was a ritual vessel. The figures holding it are the Apkallu, semi-divine sages said to have brought the fundamentals of civilization to humanity. In many carvings, an Apkallu holds the bucket in one hand and a pine cone-shaped object, or mulilu, in the other. They are often depicted facing a sacred tree, which scholars believe represents the tree of life, or, more pragmatically, a date palm. The gesture, they argue, is a depiction of artificial pollination, a vital practice in the Fertile Crescent. The bucket held the pollen. The cone was used to fertilize the tree, ensuring its fruitfulness. In other contexts, the ritual evolved. The bucket held holy water, and the cone became an aspergillum, used to purify temples and kings. We see echoes of this even today in the holy water rites of Christianity and the purification ceremonies of Eastern religions. It's a tidy explanation, a practical tool transformed into a sacred symbol.
But this tidy explanation begins to fray at the edges. If it was a simple ritual practiced by priests, why do we almost exclusively see it in the hands of gods and supernatural beings? Why are divine guardians at palace doors performing a task of botanical fertilization? And more urgently, how does a regional agricultural ritual from Mesopotamia end up in Mesoamerica, carved by a civilization that had never seen a date palm? On the stones of La Valenta, an Olmec god cradles the very same bag. The feathered serpent god, Quetzalcoatl, carrier of civilization to the Mayans and Aztecs, is depicted with it. The motif is found in Indonesia, India, and ancient Anatolia. Coincidence strains credulity. The global reach of the symbol suggests its meaning transcended a simple bucket of pollen. It points to a deeper, shared memory. This leads to a more mystical theory. The handbag is the symbol of the cosmos itself. The semicircular handle representing the sky dome, the vault of the heavens. The square base, the four corners of the earth. To hold the bag is to hold the union of heaven and earth, the blueprint of creation. The pine cone they hold is also significant. Across ancient cultures, the pine cone symbolized spiritual enlightenment and eternal life, its perfect spiral geometry mirroring patterns found throughout nature. The pineal gland, the so-called third eye located in the center of the brain, takes its name from this very shape. The gesture, then, may not be about pollinating a tree, but about awakening consciousness, uniting divine wisdom with the material world. It's a poetic and powerful idea, but it still begs the question, why this specific mundane shape to represent such a vast concept? Unless it wasn't a symbol at all. What if ancient artists were depicting something real? A piece of forgotten technology? This is where the theory takes a radical leap. Some researchers propose the handbag was not a purse, but a power source. A portable energy device used by ancient visitors. The idea sounds like pure science fiction until you look closer. In Assyrian reliefs, the sacred tree itself sometimes resembles a vertical coil with patterns that look like electrical arcs. Could the gods' handbags have been energy receivers, drawing power from these trees? In ancient Egypt, the ankh, the symbol for life, was often shown being held like a tool. On the walls of the Dendera temple, reliefs depict figures holding what look eerily like giant light bulbs, complete with filaments and connected by braided cables. If these images represent lost technology, the handbag fits into the narrative, a standardized power pack for tools we can no longer comprehend. Across the Atlantic, Quetzalcoatl was said to have descended from the sky to bring knowledge. The bag he clutches could less be a symbol of wisdom and more like a control unit or a power source for his winged serpent vehicle.
Imagine a discovery that ties it all together. While this remains a thought experiment, it encapsulates the most staggering implications of the mystery. Imagine an archaeologist uncovering a sealed Incan temple. On the wall, a god holds the familiar bag, but on his wrist is an object that looks like a modern watch. The inscription, when translated, doesn't call the bag a bucket, but a vessel of the heavens, containing the wisdom of the stars. The wrist device is called the timekeeper, allowing the gods to move between worlds. This scenario, though fictional, captures the essence of what proponents of ancient contact, like writer Graham Hancock, suggest. Hancock argues that the figures carrying the bags were not aliens, but the survivors of a highly advanced pre-Ice Age global civilization, destroyed by a cataclysm around 11,600 years ago, the same era Göbekli Tepe was built. In his view, these missionaries of a lost golden age traveled the world teaching the shell-shocked survivors of humanity the basics of agriculture, architecture, and astronomy. The handbags, then, were their emblems, a standardized toolkit of civilization, containing the seeds, the tablets, or the instruments of a forgotten science. The gods were not deities, but stewards of knowledge. Whether they were buckets, symbols, or advanced technology, the global consistency of the handbags points to a single profound truth. Every culture that depicts them associates them with creation, power, and divine knowledge. It is never a symbol of war or wealth, but of transmission, something sacred being given, carried, and protected. And in this, the ancient handbag becomes a mirror. Modern science has given us our own versions of this archetype. The flash drive, the smartphone, the cloud. All are containers of knowledge, compact enough to hold in one's hand, yet holding within them the collective memory of our civilization. The ancient image of a god clutching a mysterious bag seems almost prophetic, as though our ancestors understood that power and knowledge would always be portable. Perhaps the true message of the ancient handbag is not about alien visitors or lost empires, but about the continuity of the human quest. Across time, we have sought to capture the essence of creation and carry it with us, whether in a carved stone, a written scroll, or on a glowing screen. The handbag is the memory of memory itself. And so the carvings endure. Silent gods frozen in the act of giving. Their stone handbags hang like promises across time, whispering to every generation that the wisdom of the heavens was once within our grasp, and may yet be again. The question is not simply what was in the bag. The question is, what have we forgotten?